Hi, I'm Deb Engel, and today I want to talk about a topic that can be a little touchy, probably for all of us, and that's the topic of forgiveness. Now, it may seem as though forgiveness is a topic that would make us feel better to talk about it or to practice it, because after all, aren't we supposed to feel better when we forgive someone? In truth, we absolutely are, and in fact, according to A Course in Miracles, it says if you want peace, the path is through complete forgiveness. It's so clear about the fact that this one thing can wipe away all of the fears, the anxiety, the blame, the anger, the past that we're holding on to that can make us uncomfortable, anxious, angry, and not at peace at all. But as A Course in Miracles often does, it has a different take on forgiveness. It teaches it in a different way than all of the things that we've been taught about forgiveness in the past. What we typically think about as forgiveness is the ego's version, the ego's brand of forgiveness, which is essentially, yeah, you've hurt me, but I'm going to be the better person and I'll let you off the hook just so that I can feel better. According to A Course in Miracles, that's not true forgiveness. And if we've done that, and I think probably we all have, we know that it doesn't feel all that great anyway, because we're still harboring some bitterness, some resentment, or some grudge in us. And it feels as though we have just let the person off the hook, and now we've given them permission to hurt us over and over and over again. According to A Course in Miracles, that's not forgiveness at all. What the Course says about forgiveness is that anything that we think we need to forgive, for instance, let's say a coworker has taken credit for some work that you did. You worked on a project, you put in a lot of effort, a lot of time, and the coworker took it and ran with it and basically said it was theirs and gave you no credit at all. Well, of course, they did this to try to make themselves look better, to try to raise their credibility or to be on the radar for your boss and for your coworkers. So they were doing it out of fear that they weren't good enough, fear that maybe they didn't have the talent to do what you just did. So sure, I'll just steal your work and I'll pretend that it's mine. Obviously, this came out of fear. This is from the standpoint of, I'm not enough, I'm not lovable enough, and I'm not successful and talented enough. So what A Course in Miracles says is that you, as the person who has been hurt or wronged, or feeling that you have, to really forgive the person who has hurt you is to recognize that their act came out of fear. And what A Course in Miracles says is that in this world there are two things. One is fear, and one is love, and of those two, only love is real. It says over and over and over again in so many different ways that if we're acting out of fear, we're really acting out of illusion. It's a nothing. It's as though it didn't really even exist, and even more than that, it's in the past, so the only moment that exists is right now. So there are two things about anything that might have hurt you. When that coworker took credit for your work, it's in the past, and they did it from fear, and so it's as though it didn't really happen at all. And that, the Course in Miracles says, is the way to truly forgive someone, is to look at whatever it was that you feel hurt you and say, yeah, it really didn't even happen. Now, I know that as you're listening to this, probably your ego is going nuts. There are alarms going off in your head. Your ego is right in your face saying, hold on a second. This can't be forgiveness. This is just pretending. This is just denial. It's pretending that this is a rosy world and everything is perfect and la, la, la. It's not being realistic about the hurts that you may experience and that you do experience. But here's the deal. This is not just about putting on a rose-colored pair of glasses and pretending that life is perfect. And it's about choosing consciously to put your focus on what's beautiful and what's loving in this world and to let the rest go. Now, again, this is something that the ego will really have a lot of problems with. It's going to want to keep you stuck in the old definition of forgiveness, which can look a lot of different ways. One of the ways that it might look is you might have a list in your mind of, yeah, I can forgive somebody for this, and I can forgive them for this. Oh, this particular hurt, no way could I ever forgive anybody for that. Think about it. That doesn't do anything against a person who may hurt you. It does something against you. It keeps you in this place of blame and anger. It keeps you stuck, and that's what the ego is devoted to. But if you can really open your heart and your mind and say, I'm going to live in this world with an expectation of beauty. I'm going to live in this world with an expectation of love, and that's what I'm going to see and experience, it truly changes everything. I know for myself how much resistance there can be to this idea of forgiveness, and so I totally understand if you feel resistance to it too. And that's why I encourage you this week just to sit with this definition of forgiveness from A Course in Miracles, which is to overlook anything that comes from fear and to see only love. Now, again, it's probably not something that you'll just be able to flip a switch and be there, but work with it, journal about it, think about it, ask Spirit about it, talk with your spiritual guidance, try it on. This week, if anybody does something that rubs you the wrong way, just take a step back and ask yourself, can I overlook what they did in terms of forgiveness so that I can maintain the peace that I want? Because that's what this is all about. And keep in mind that this is all about self-forgiveness as well. It's not just about what other people do to you or what feels that way. This is about your own negative self-talk or ways that we sabotage ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves for those things as well. So for this week, just practice, 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 practice. Become aware of the times when you really want to hold on to that sense of being right and not wanting to forgive. And just try on this new way of looking at forgiveness. So if you have any questions or any comments, I would love to hear them. I'm wishing you a beautiful day, and I'm sending you blessings.